Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Tuesday morning to you all. I hope you guys are doing well out there, feeling well, having a fantastic start to your work week. If today is the start, for a lot of people it is. For me, it is, as we are now leaving our 3-day weekend. But we're going to talk about what we can expect weather-wise for today. We're still dealing with this kind of irritating low pressure that continues to spin kind of along the coastline of kind of the Delmarva regions, around the Virginia, Maryland, Delaware region. It's just kind of spinning away, and this will continue to influence the weather somewhat today, but we will gradually get rid of this over the next couple of days for sure. But so we are also expecting the potential for some significant severe weather across the central high plains, and we'll talk about where exactly that'll be in this video. I'm talking about some pretty strong winds could be associated with a line of storms that quickly form, kind of like in eastern Colorado, could have upwards to 80-mile-per-hour winds. Even the Storm Prediction Center mentions this. So we could have some intense storms in this region of the country. Stay tuned towards the end of the video. I'll kind of give you an update on the general pattern expected that's going to continue to promote severe weather, kind of in the same areas we saw it last week. And then we'll give you a brief update on the tropics and how moisture is really slowly building in the Gulf of Mexico over the next couple of days, and we'll see what happens with that. So with that being said, if you guys have not subscribed, certainly consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. These things go a long way in these slower months, and I'm happy to say that May, June, and July are certainly the slowest months for my channel, and probably for a lot of people who do the weather on YouTube. But May, I kind of hit some goals I set for myself in this channel, so thank y'all for that. You guys made it happen for me, and really appreciate it. If you folks ever consider joining the channel, the join tab is below the video, and also on kind of like my YouTube header, if you actually go to my actual page. I believe I have 26 members who have joined my channel. I had a lofty goal of kind of 40 by the end of summer. I don't think that's realistic. So just trying to get to that 30 mark, which I need about 3 or 4 more members to the channel. So if you ever consider doing that, it's a great way to support what I do monthly. And thank you for the folks who have done that. And just thank you for people who continue to make this part of their routine. If you guys got anything that I can pray about or pray over, you guys know the deal. Put it in the comments below. Trust me, we'll pray over it. Others will do so too. And we all can look out for one another and glorify God doing it through prayer. Praying is a form of glorifying God. So let's definitely look out for one another in that way. All right, so let's take a look at what's going on out there. Let's see if she'll work this morning for us. And test run, and she is. So we still have this low pressure that continues to spin, not really over the Maryland area. I kind of said the wrong area, but right off the coast of kind of southeast Virginia, northeast North Carolina. You still got this low pressure that continues just to kind of spin away. And this will bring in more, it will kind of throw back in some convection showers and storm activity for probably this area of the country today, but it will be very isolated, more so widespread near kind of eastern Virginia, places like that. Kind of leftover moisture from the other day, from yesterday's convection, is kind of drifting across areas of the middle of the country and the north central U.S. this morning, and we will continue to watch into this afternoon as we will have another area of intense weather, probably in the form of some kind of line of storms that develops in this region today. These storms could be quite intense. And then if you look over here down here into the Gulf of Mexico, we have some explosion and convection. Not really a spin yet, but there's a lot of moisture down here. We talked about that a couple days ago, how we were going to have an increase in moisture down here, and this is certainly the case. And this will gradually continue to kind of explode down here, and we'll see what happens as it kind of drifts over Florida over the next couple days. And are we going to get something that kind of forms out here in the southeast, off the coast of the southeast, and what we call the Southwest Atlantic? Not quite sure, but we're certainly going to watch this. This upper trough that we're watching right over here, this will eventually do what we call a trough ejection, and then potentially eject across somewhere in the southwest, the plains region. Could increase a bigger severe weather threat maybe as we get into tomorrow, maybe even into Thursday. So we'll watch all this. So a lot of little small features going on out there that doesn't mean a whole lot right now, but could potentially mean some things over the next in the coming hours and the next few days. We look at the we look at the surface and what's going on. We'll have to get this in motion again. It likes to glitch on me here right at the end of the frame. But an area of active weather ongoing in areas of Minnesota. You got showers very scattered about here, and areas of kind of western Missouri, eastern Kansas, and then just kind of a blob of moisture right here in southern Nebraska and northern Kansas. And we'll kind of zoom into this more put together area of showers and storms right here. And Minneapolis, for example, is certainly waking up to some active weather. Nothing severe right now, but this is definitely waking you guys up with some heavier rain, maybe some rumbles of thunder up here. And like I said, just some showers down here. This is more so some storm action kind of drifting into western Missouri. And then we're still watching this low pressure right over here. This is going to continue to kind of bring wrap back around rain into portions of kind of southern Maryland, even areas of Delaware, and certainly into Virginia. We need to get this low right into here, well off the coast, to get it to stop influencing the weather here in the mid-Atlantic and areas of the northern southeast. But we'll have isolated to widespread, I can't talk this morning, showers and storms in Virginia and North Carolina, and some of these will even drift into South Carolina a little bit later today. But we'll look at the storm, the Storm Prediction Center outlook for today. We have a slight risk right here in the central high plains. It's just a slight risk as of now, as of 6:41 a.m. Eastern time. This could upgrade in the next update or two. If it does, I'll certainly put it on the channel and let you guys know. But a slight risk as of now. This includes who you see on the map, which is extreme eastern Colorado, pretty much all the panhandle of Oklahoma, the northern section of the panhandle of Texas, a large section of western Kansas, and then basically the southwest section of Nebraska. Tornado threat is pretty low today. Not much kind of turning with height in the atmosphere. You're just not going to have much of a tornado threat. You can't completely rule it out. This could increase on the later outlooks, but as of now, less than 2% chance. The biggest threat today is winds. Not only do you have a 15% risk of winds pushing 50 knots or higher, that's 55 to 60 miles per hour, within 25 miles in a given location, you also have a hatch risk, which is the black outline region right here. That is at least a 10% risk of significant winds, and that is pushing 65 knots or higher. So that is excess of 70 to 70 mile per hour winds. So that's, pushing hurricane force winds. I think this will occur today, where it's definitely going to be the potential for a windbag situation, meaning it's really going to be wind driven. Okay, so hail threat today, you got that 15% risk, kind of in the same area that you have the slight risk, just about, of hail exceeding 1 inch in diameter or larger in this region. So let's talk about the southeast first, and we'll continue to watch this spin. This area of moisture that I just showed you on radar will kind of push into eastern sections of Virginia throughout the late morning and early afternoon. And then we'll watch for more development of showers and storms as heating builds throughout the afternoon and evening. And I would watch, southeast North Carolina based off the HRRR model. But you could have pop-up showers and convection really anywhere in this region. I mean, even over here, really, you guys in Indiana, Illinois, kind of Missouri, y'all definitely need some rain. You guys are just roasting out here. Saw a 7-day forecast on Twitter yesterday of somewhere in Illinois, and you guys are going to be in the low to mid-90s this week. So you guys are certainly stealing the show as far as summer, but I know you guys probably don't want to be this hot. Most people probably don't this early in the year, but you certainly are getting, or certainly are definitely that hot. That's normally temperatures we typically see in South Carolina and Georgia this time of the year. But very isolated showers are possible in Tennessee, Kentucky, Georgia. A little bit closer look, you can see this moisture building down the Gulf. You see it just kind of spinning away down here as we get into tomorrow morning. You guys could definitely wake up tomorrow morning in kind of southwest Florida to some more convection, especially just off the coast. But you got a lot of moisture building down here in the Gulf and kind of the areas of the Bahamas. A little bit closer look at the Carolinas today. And we'll watch this surge of moisture that kind of blast through in southern Maryland, southeast and eastern sections of Virginia. This might fall apart. It might not. But as you can tell, just some isolated showers, maybe scattered in nature. Scattered and smothered, the Waffle House reference I like to use. But very isolated in the southeast Carolinas, eastern Tennessee. So if you need rain, and if it rains at your house, definitely consider yourself lucky, because these will certainly be isolated. But where it's not raining, it will certainly warm up pretty decently today, especially the further southwest that you work. We move up to the northeast, and I do apologize, I've not been talking about you guys lately, but don't blame it on me. It's just the weather ain't doing much up here. It really isn't. You know, I do my timestamps, and it's like I only have like 15 to 20 seconds over the northeast. But your weather continues just to be chill. I mean, not a whole lot going on. In fact, I would argue that you guys need rain in certain areas of the northeast. But don't expect any today, into the overnight tonight, into tomorrow morning. No rain expected. Nothing. You won't probably even get a drop of rain up here. So continues just to be very just chill weather up here. Not a whole lot going on. So we look at the south central U.S. and we'll include the severe weather threat with this also. So we'll have to actually back this up. Here we go. Start off this morning. We'll have some shower and storm development possible, maybe between the Corpus Christi area and Houston. Maybe some sea breeze action. We'll see what happens with that. Really, eastern Texas in general could have some very widely isolated or scattered showers and storms today. But, you know, definitely not expecting these to exceed severe limits. If they do, only one or two of them will. You guys in Missouri today, I know you're starting to get quite dry. You guys could get some isolated shower or storm development in Missouri. Columbia, Missouri, watch out. Maybe some storms. Northern Missouri, southern Iowa. This is getting more so in the south central U.S. So I'm north central U.S., so I won't talk too much on that. But here we go. Here are the storms that really explode today, and they explode pretty quickly. For example, back this up in 1 hour, 5 p.m., it's pretty quiet. You got some showers beginning to develop in eastern Colorado. By the time you get into 7 p.m., they start to get more intense. And I really expect these to be the most intense right as the sun is starting to set. So around 7, 8, 9 p.m., these are when the storms are the most intense, probably from southwest Nebraska, far eastern Colorado, far western Kansas, and even some intense storms are possible all the way to the northern panhandle of Texas and Oklahoma down here. So please be aware of this. I'm going to zoom into these areas here in a second, but these will continue throughout the overnight hours. We get into about midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., then they begin to fall apart as they enter the central sections of those states I mentioned, like Nebraska, Kansas. They lose some steam, but could be waking up tomorrow morning to more organized area of convection here, maybe in southwest Iowa, northwest Missouri, maybe areas of eastern Kansas. But, the NAM, same kind of deal. This could be an intense area of storms. The NAM and HRRR model are kind of on the same page and really liking this area, far eastern Colorado and western sections of Kansas. Okay, but we'll get a little bit closer look at this. I've mentioned in a couple towns. Oh, wow, that's a Holyoke, Colorado. Is that? No, that's, yeah, Holyoke, Colorado. Ray, Colorado. I didn't realize Ray was that far east in Colorado, but here it is. Imperial, Nebraska. Goodland, Kansas. These storms could affect you guys, and here they come. Obviously will affect far eastern Colorado before they affect and move into, Kansas and Nebraska. But, Goodland, you guys are going to be the epicenter of some really bad storms today. Sharon Springs, was that Weskin? Very small towns I'm trying to mention. Coolidge, Syracuse, these are all Kansas. Garden City, these storms can make it to you guys too. Let's see if we can get the latest HRRR model. Here we go. But they're going to be quite intense today. And, you can't rule them out in Guyman, Boise City, Oklahoma either. These storms could be Amarillo. I would say you're a little bit too far south, but you can't rule out anything up there too. But please watch out for any of these storms. This is potentially what it looks like around 8 or 9 p.m. tonight. These storms could be producing hurricane force winds, 74, 75, 80 miles per hour. So please pay attention to these storms today. They'll kind of explode quick in eastern Colorado. They really will. So north central U.S., You guys could see some interesting weather today, waking up to some showers. The HRR model performing horribly with this area of showers and storms in areas in Minnesota. Okay, in fact, let's see how good the NAM's doing. NAM's doing a little bit better. So let's just roll with the NAM today, for real. But some intense storms could get going in western Minnesota today. We'll watch what happens with these, but if you're anywhere in western Minnesota, I mean, even in Iowa, these are going to be extremely isolated. So there's a chance you might not get a drop of rain, but there's a chance you can get a pretty intense storm. Some hail is possible, some damaging winds are possible with this. So please be aware, if you look at the Storm Prediction Center outlook, it's really favoring this area like Minneapolis. But it's really favoring this little slot right here in Minnesota, western Iowa, for the most intense storms. And this is really driven off mainly a hail threat, guys. So not a huge threat today, but watch out for these storms. They're very isolated. Anybody could see them in Minnesota today. Some of them can even drift into far western and northwestern Wisconsin as we get into the late evening hours, and then we get into the overnight hours. Could be waking up to an organized area of showers and storms somewhere in this region of Iowa, Nebraska, Missouri down here. We just got to figure out how the leftover area of storms that are going to be intense this afternoon drifts throughout the overnight hours into those regions. We're only going to show kind of the Northwest because this is honestly the only area of the western U.S. that's going to expect active weather, but we will continue to have organized showers, maybe even some storm activity across the same areas that's seen it. You guys have seen a lot of rain. Northern California, eastern and southeastern Oregon, pretty much all of Idaho, especially central to southern Idaho, northern Nevada, northern Utah, especially and more so kind of around the Yellowstone National Park area of Wyoming. These could drift into southern and southwest Montana as we get late into the afternoon to the evening. And maybe a more organized kind of cluster of showers and storms here in central Idaho and eastern Idaho that might drift into Montana again later into the overnight hours, but they'd look to fall apart. But that's pretty much it. Kind of the same story in these regions. Temperatures. Illinois continues to be the hot spot. They really are. I mean, you guys are probably going to get warmer than this, probably low 90s today. You see this area of cool weather, that it's still just the clouds, the rain from this little low pressure off the coast of the eastern U.S. This will continue to keep you guys' temperatures kind of cool. And this has still even influenced the temperatures down here in South Carolina. Only the low 80s, that's below average for South Carolina this time of the year. Florida, typical late May temperatures, 80s, low 90s, and the deep south starting to get back to kind of normal temperatures, still slightly below average the further east you work. Beautiful weather expected in the northeast unless you're hugging the Atlantic Ocean where you'll have a flow that does not support much warming, like you folks in Boston, Long Island, and just Cape Cod. But don't worry, we're getting deeper in the year. It'll start to warm up more. The Ohio Valley in the Midwest, very warm. 80s, low 90s. Michigan, very warm. You guys have just went straight to summer up here in the Great Lakes region. Pretty wild to see. You guys are getting quite dry in this region too. You really need some rain with these warmer temperatures. But the entire central area of the country, very warm. You just went straight to summer. But that doesn't mean that you're not going to get any kind of June cold fronts coming, so we'll watch for that. Western U.S. getting very warm here in southwest Texas, but this isn't totally unusual for this time of the year. You're certainly below average for the southwest as you have this upper trough that's kind of slowly drifting eastward into this region. So your temperatures are much cooler in the desert southwest than they're supposed to this year. Definitely supposed to be hitting close to the 100 degree mark in this region this time of the year. A little bit above average, especially and mainly for Montana, but below average. It just depends on where you are. It's always tough to kind of talk about these regions, but definitely below average when in response to this upper trough over the southwest. Tomorrow, we're going to have a severe weather threat. This could increase to an enhanced risk. We'll watch this, but as of now, 2% risk of a tornado. Winds, 15% risk of winds pushing 50 knots or higher, and hail, the 15% risk of 1-inch hail. pretty large slight risk, kind of the same areas that we saw it all last week. So we'll continue to watch this, and then we'll watch for Thursday. This could increase also. In fact, I expect this to increase to upgrade to a slight risk. We'll see what happens though with this risk, but expect another week of just on and off chances of strong to severe storms in the southern and central high plains. I think the tropics, the Euro continues to like the idea of development. We're getting into Wednesday. You have just an all-out low pressure down here. Getting into Thursday, drifting very slowly. By the time we're into Friday, we could have some heavy rain just off the coast of I would say tucked into the northeast portion of the Gulf of Mexico. Eventually, as we get into this weekend, this could finally drift over Florida. This could really bring some downpours, some tropical downpours into Florida into the weekend. It might not be a great weather weekend for Florida into the weekend. We get into Sunday morning, then we get into just flat out Sunday. The Euro has this low pressure off into the southwest Atlantic, so off the eastern coastline of Florida. What does it do after this? Will it try to develop? I mean, you got a somewhat strong low pressure. Sunday evening, 1,001 millibar low pressure. Does this push into the southeast, or just head on out into the Atlantic? It just depends on the currents, steering currents in the atmosphere out here. But a lot of models like this just heading out into the Atlantic and not really showing what it showed a couple days ago of it plowing right into the southeast. But here's the GFS, shows an unorganized area of showers and storms that drift over Florida. This pops off a low pressure right here Sunday morning, but whatever that is, it heads on out. Okay, so we'll give you an update on this tonight. At least that's the plan. We bought a water slide for my little girls, and it's coming in this evening. I hope it comes in time for us to play with it. And I'm really looking forward to blowing up for the girls and then playing with it. So there's a chance I might not get a video out tonight, but we'll see what happens, especially seeing what these models are going to do today with the tropics and the severe weather threat. But God bless all y'all. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.